Hello everyone, greetings from Syncfusion software. I'm Suresh, one of the product managers at Syncfusion. I manage the development of PDF viewer in Windows Forms, WPF, UWP and Xamarin. In today's webinar session, we are going to see about handling annotations in PDF document using PDF viewer WPF. Along with that, we will be seeing about the new feature updates that are available in different components for the desktop platforms in 2021 Volume 2 release. Let's get started. In this session, we are going to see about the latest updates in WinUI platform for the Volume 2 2021 release, along with the updates in UWP and WPF platforms. Also, like I said before, we are going to create a simple WPF application and include a PDF viewer, and we are going to add, edit and delete, import and export annotations in the PDF document. Let's first see about the latest updates in our WinUI platform. The following are the components that are developed to be production ready and are moved from preview to production ready state. And the controls include linear gauge, circular gauge, badge, barcode, color picker, drop-down color picker, color palette, drop-down color palette, tree view and button group. We have introduced a new number box control which is in preview state right now. This control allows editing currency values, decimals and percentages. And you can provide input using three different input types. They are touch, mouse and keyboard. Let's walk through the demo of this number box control. So I am opening this app from Windows Store. This is readily available in Microsoft stores. You can download it with the reference link available in our FT page. For working with this samples, you need not install any dependency of Syncfusion. These are readily runnable samples that are available in Windows Store. So like I said, the number box is the new control we have included. So these are the basic things that this number box support. You can increment or decrement. This is set to increment by 10, so it is incrementing the value of the number box by 10 and decrementing the same by 10. And in this segment we can see, like I said, this number box handles currency, and you can switch between different culture to change its currency value. Right now it is in United States, and I am shifting it to India to show it as rupees. And in Portugal they usually put their currency sign after the number, so it is handled in that way. And this decimal number box is configured to display two decimal numbers. So if you add any more numbers after the 2 digits of the decimal value, it will be rounded off. Now I am adding the value after the decimal as 589. So the expected value to be rounded off is 0.59. So it is done so. So likewise, we can add any number of decimal points. It will be rounded off to 2 decimal numbers. And similarly, the percent number box, it is configured to calculate the percentage of the total value considered to be 1. So for the percentage value of 5394, it would display, for the input value of 53.94, the percent value is 5394 percentage. So if you want to display for example 25 percentage, the input value would be 0.25, so it would display 25 percentage. So this is one of the new control we have included. It is right now in preview state. In future release, it would be moved to the production ready state. Other than the number box control, we have included various other features and different components in WinUI, which includes now we allow editing the data in the data grid cell using calendar date picker. You can customize the foreground and background of an appointment in a scheduler. Now both slider and range slider supports vertical orientation. you can now display a week number in the calendar control. So let's go through the demo of all these features. So in data grid, like I said, we can edit the date value using the calendar control. So in here we could find the higher date as the date value. Performing single click would select the cell. Performing double click will move it to the edit mode. I hope you could see this calendar icon, on the right side of the cell. Clicking on it would open a calendar control. Choosing a date would update the value in this date cell. So we can perform edit in some other cell as well. So I'm performing double click to move to edit state and choosing the calendar icon and picking a date here. So this provision is recently provided. And moving forward to scheduler, like I said, we have provided provision to customize the foreground and background of the appointment. So here is an appointment named general meeting. I am performing double click on that. This would pop up this edit event dialog. So we can customize the foreground and background using this color picker. So I am choosing the foreground to be black and the background to be gray, and it is reflected in here. Like I said, the calendar control now supports displaying the week numbers in it. So the week number is displayed on the left side of the calendar. It's like 32, 33. This is the week numbers. Both the slider and range slider, both these controls provide support vertical orientation now. See, vertical sliders. So we can choose the values in vertical orientation. It also supports enabling and disabling the tick, so the intermediate values, and you can also choose between showing and hiding the labels, and inversing, like reverse the values displayed in the slider. These features are already available, and the vertical orientation of this slider control is provided as a new update in this release. So that is with this WinUI. In UWP platform, in circular gauge, we have provided this step frequency support. So you cannot, this support avoids you from selecting intermediate values. You have to choose only the discrete values. For example, in this GIF image, you can choose the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you cannot choose a value in between like 1.5, 2.3. Those values are prohibited from chosen. And in map control, we can now include multiple shapes in a single shape layer. In the previous implementation, it was you need to include individual shape layer for individual shapes. That would consume some more resource, and it is not very efficient. Thus implementation has been altered to include multiple shapes in a single shapefile layer. And rich text box now supports including a square wrapping style. So we will see this in the WPF demo, because this feature is also included in this WPF rich text box as well. Moving forward to the WPF control, now all the WPF controls are included with this smart tags. On selecting this smart tag, selecting the control in the designer view, a bulb-like icon will be displayed on the top right corner. And clicking on it would open the properties of that control, which can be customized easily there. Instead of going to the properties window on the right side, the properties of controls can be edited in the design window itself. And in the theme support, we have included a different set of palettes for each theme, which can be customized easily. So you can choose a theme and you can customize the color palettes in it, and you can export the theme and apply it to the application to see it in effect. So this themes or this themes would be applied both for the Syncfusion controls and the framework controls as well. So any theme would make a big difference in the application. And in data grid and tree grid controls, we can choose to display either horizontal lines or vertical lines or both. And we can also customize the display of these horizontal and vertical lines, grid lines, from the body of the control along with the header. We can distinguish whether we need to display the grid lines only in the header or in the body or in both sections. Now the diagram control supports a ripple animation over the ports. When we draw a connector between two nodes, the ripple effect would be displayed at the destination, even at the source. This ripple animation would be displayed whenever we mouse over our pointer to any port. So the connection would be very accurate. And you can now select multiple symbols in a palette and include them in a single swipe into the diagram control. And you can move the shapes in from one palette to other palette by cut, copy and paste options. You can duplicate it or move it to other palettes. And you can choose between displaying just the symbols or the symbols along with their names. This choice of displaying single symbols along with their names is provided as a new update. So it is another way of reorganizing the symbols within a palette. And the ribbon control, so when resizing a ribbon control, the order of collapse can be customized now. In this GIF image, we could see that first the clipboard segment is collapsed, followed by paragraph and styles and then font. So this order can be customized. So clipboard is collapsed, followed by paragraph, style and font. So this is the order in which this ribbon is collapsed, and it is also expanded in the same order. PDF Viewer WPF now supports including cloud annotations, and you can also import and export annotations in FDF and XFDF formats. We will see the detailed demo of this annotation in the demo session. Like in the UWP platform, you can include multiple shapes in a single shape layer, and in scheduler control also supports customizing the foreground and background of an appointment. And ComboBox now supports selecting multiple tokens. ComboBox now allows you to dynamically check items programmatically. This feature now will allow us to select both India and China when selecting Asia. And autocomplete now comes with a clear button to clear the text in the autocomplete text box. And you can also highlight the unmatched text in the options listed in the autocomplete text box. And you can also customize the number of suggestion in the autocomplete. The PDF library now supports redacting PDF path and PDF shapes. In previous version, it supported redacting text and images. Now the redaction feature is extended to support path and shapes. Removing images is now possible in PDF document. You can choose between removing a single image or image in a single page or images in all the entire PDF document. And all these customizations are available in our PDF library. And in Word library, in Word to PDF conversion, we now preserve dash long style of underline, word style of underline, dash heavy, dash long heavy and dot dash heavy styles are now supported. In the PowerPoint library now supports multi-column text in PowerPoint, I mean PowerPoint to image and PowerPoint to PDF conversions. Like I said in the UWP platform, the rich text box in WPF also supports this text box shape with square wrapping style. We would see a demo on it. So about the data grid. So styling, like I said, the grid lines, choosing between displaying the vertical and horizontal grid lines. So we have now shown both horizontal and vertical. We can choose none to remove all the grid lines. This part would affect just the body part, and it would ignore the header segment. If I am choosing horizontal, the horizontal lines will be displayed in the body part. So header, we can customize it separately. We can choose, if we choose none, the header grid lines in the header would be hidden, made invisible. So choosing vertical would show some difference, and choosing horizontal would make a very much less difference, so that would not be visible. So this type of styling customization is now available in our WPF data grid. The same set of customization is available in tree grid as well, so I am just ignoring it. And in diagram control, like I said, the ripple effect. So see, when we mouse over the ports, it would display some ripple effect. To choose the right port, we can also move a connector from to a different port, which would cause the ripple effect. So these are the customizations available in this diagram control. And in the stencils, like I said, we can include multiple shapes into the diagram control in a single swipe. And we can also move move a shape between inside a palette. We can also choose to copy or cut a shape and move it to a different palette. So it is included in here. So these are the customization options available in diagram control. So a ribbon control would choosing the order in which the collapse order, choosing the order in which the groups will be collapsed can be customized easily. So first the clipboard is collapsed, followed by paragraph, then styles would be collapsed, and then font is collapsed. This would be the same order in expanding as well. So first the fonts would be expanded, followed by styles, then paragraph, and then clipboard. This collapse and expand order can be customized in using our ribbon control. Scheduler, we have seen similar demo of scheduler in customizing the foreground and background color. Like I said, redacting the PDF document, content of a PDF document. Okay. So now the redacting text is already supported. Here we would have an arc that is being redacted now, and this part of an image is redacted in here. So redacting shapes is now supported. And here we are going to try to remove images. Let's choose an PDF document from our. Okay, let me open this PDF document to show you the images first. So we have in the employee details document, we have these images in both these pages. The demo is written to remove the images from the first page of the PDF document. So I am in desktop, I am choosing this employee details file. I'm opening it. I'm choosing to remove images. So I'm opening the output images. So the images in the first page is removed and this image in the second page is retained. To check the code, you can directly choose the browse code in GitHub to navigate to the GitHub sample of this feature and check if it is implemented that way. In Doc.io, Word to PDF conversion has the now preserves underline styles, right? We have seen that there. Let's see if it is preserved. So the different underline styles like a dash, dotted dash, all these styles are preserved now in during the Word to PDF conversion. On PDF viewer, we will be seeing a separate demo, complete demo of it, and rich text box now supports this text box style inside. This would be preserved. So the text around it would be will not overlap this text box style. In the autocomplete text, now we could see that the clear button is included in here. So if I am choosing to type United, and I can choose this clear option to remove all the text. And in the combo box, we can now choose multiple countries. Multiple values to be updated in here. And regarding the dynamically checked items, choosing Asia would select India and China. Choosing Europe would select France and Spain. You choosing North America would select Canada and Cuba. These are done programmatically. Now let's create a WPF project and work with annotations using PDF Viewer WPF. So I'm going to open Visual Studio now. So I'm going to create a new WPF project. So search for the WPF template using the search bar. So locate the WPF application and choose next. I'm going to name this project as PDF Viewer Demo. Choose a target framework of your choice. I'm going to leave it as .NET Core 3.1. The project is now created and we could see the design of main window in the design view. Now I'm going to include the NuGet packages to add PDF viewer into the project. So I'm choosing manage NuGet package and navigate to browse tab and search for Syncfusion WPF PDF viewer. So PDF viewer WPF, yeah. If you search for this this term, you can easily locate our PDF viewer NuGet package. I'm going to choose the latest version to install, which supports importing and exporting annotation details. So I'm choosing this version. So click on OK to install the NuGet package. So it is installed, I guess. Now I'm going to main window. I'm going to include the Syncfusion PDF viewer namespace here. So I'm going to choose Syncfusion Windows PDF viewer. This is it. Okay. Now I'm going to split this grid into two sections, two columns actually, so that I can include PDF viewer in one column and buttons to import and export the annotations in another column. So I'm going to define column definitions. So I'm going to add details of two columns. So I'm going to choose width of one column to be star and another column to be auto. Like I said, I'm going to include PDF viewer in the first column, for which I'm going to include a grid followed by adding the grid, PDF viewer as a child to the grid. Syncfusion is the XML namespace. PDF viewer is the control. I'm going to name this control as PDF viewer. That's it. In the second column of the grid, I'm going to include a stack panel. In the stack panel, I'm going to include two different buttons. I'm going to configure this. I'm going to set vertical alignment of the stack panel to center, so I can place the buttons at the center of the stack panel. So grid column, I'm going to define it to be 1. So I'm going to include a button with the details as first button I'm going to include it to import annotations, and second button is going to be to export annotations. So I'm going to name it that way. So this is going to be import annotation button. I'm choosing the padding value to be 5, and I'm choosing its margin value to be 10 for better readability. I'm going to add the label to the button as import. That's it. So I'm going to add a similar button. So I'm copying and pasting the button details. I'm going to name it as for so it's going to be same. Now we are going to create a view model class to implement this project in a VVM pattern. I'm going to add a folder named view model. I'm going to add a class inside this folder. I'm going to name this class as view model. So I'm just removing this view model folder for easy access to the main class. Here we are going to define I'm going to inherit this view model class from iNotify property changed interface. So since the namespace of this iNotify property changed interface is not included, I'm going to include it. So now I'm going to implement this interface. Yes. So property changed event has been created in this class. Now we are going to create a document stream to access the PDF document from the disk and load it into the PDF viewer. So it is going to be of type stream. And property name is going to be document stream. So the public property name is going to be document stream as well with a capital D. So this is it. Since the stream class is not included, I'm going to include its interface system.io. Yeah. And we are going to create two different commands to access the methods of PDF viewer to import and export the annotations. Before that, let's proceed with loading the PDF document and displaying it in the PDF viewer. So in the constructor of this view model, I'm going to initialize this document stream property. So I'm going to access this from the data folder. So I'm providing the path of the PDF document. It is going to be a relative path, and you can choose any path of your choice. Now I'm going to I had to place this document in this folder location. So I'm opening the project's location, File Explorer. Okay, we have it here. Now I'm going to copy this PDF document from the desktop. I have to create a folder named data and add the PDF document there. Now we need to create a onProperty changed method to trigger when the value of document stream changes. So I'm going to create a method. With the property changed event arguments. If the property changed is not equal to null, we need to trigger property changed event. With the parameter. Now we are going to call this method in the set of the document stream property. So we are going to set the document stream value to the document stream and then going to trigger this onProperty changed method. So it would accept property changed event arguments as arguments, yes, for which we are going to provide the property name, that is document stream, as the parameter. I must to include a semicolon in here. Yeah. Now in the main method, main window, we need to set the data context to bind the view model with this XAML page. So I'm going to include this windows.data context to view model. And then we need to bind the document stream property with the item source property of the PDF viewer. So item source, I'm going to bind it. Document stream. I hope it should display the PDF document in the PDF viewer. Let's give it a try. Since we are using the trial version of NuGet package, since we hadn't applied any license, it is showing that warning message. So the PDF document is now displayed in our PDF viewer. Okay, let's proceed with importing and exporting. Let's proceed with implementing this operations. Now we have to include we are going to use iCommand interface for implementing these import and export operations. So I'm going to declare two iCommand interfaces. It is going to be of type iCommand. And I'm going to name it as import annotation command. So the public property is going to be import annotation command as well. Since the iCommand is not, the namespace of the iCommand is not included yet, I'm going to import it now. So in a similar fashion, I'm going to include the property for export annotation command as well. And that is it. Now we are going to create two different methods to import and export annotations. It is going to accept PDF viewer control as a parameter. Since its namespace is not included yet, I'm going to import it. So I'm going to call the import annotations method of PDF viewer control. So we would be exporting the, importing the annotation data from the same data folder from which we access the PDF document. And the annotation format method is going to be FDF. You can choose between FDF and XFDF. It's up to you. I am choosing FDF as the format in which I am going to import and export the annotation data. In a similar way, we are going to implement a method to export the annotations. So that is going to be of same format, FDF as well. Now we are not going to initialize this command time and again, so I'm going to remove the set method of both these commands. So we are going to initialize it just for the first time. So I'm going to check if the command is null. I'm going to initialize its value. It has to be import annotation command. I'm going to initialize it to new delegate command. And to the import annotations method. We need to resolve this. Yes, it is done, and we are going to implement a similar thing for the export annotation command as well. We are going to check if it is going to be null. Sorry. And we are going to initialize it. To pass its parameter as export annotations method. Now we need to bind these commands with the buttons click events. So let's navigate to main window. Now we need to bind these commands. So we are going to bind to the command property of the button. Import annotations command, yes, and we are going to pass the property parameter as we are going to pass PDF viewer as the parameter to this command. So the command parameter is going to be PDF viewer control. I'm going to bind it as well. Element name is PDF viewer. Yeah, we are going to implement similar operations for the export command as well. Oh God. The command parameter is going to be PDF viewer control as well. So the implementation is completely done. Let's go and execute this program now. So it's going to be warning message. Now let's include some annotations in this PDF document. PDF viewer supports both text and shape annotations. In text, it supports highlight, underline, and strike through, and it supports including different shapes like line, rectangle, circle, arrow, polygon, polyline, and cloud annotation. The cloud annotation is the one that is included in the latest release. All other annotations are supported in the previous versions as well. Now we can include some text annotations and also some shape annotations. So I'm going to highlight these text regions. I'm going to underline a few. I'm going to underline this birth date. Okay, let's include some shape annotations. So let's try the latest cloud shape. So once you jump to the annotation mode, click to initiate the drawing of the cloud annotation. On double clicking, it would end including the annotation. So even after including the annotation, you can if annotation is included accidentally, you press on escape to skip drawing the annotation. So we need to jump back to the normal mode from the annotation mode. So clicking on it would jump back to the normal mode. So I'm now going to select this annotation and see how to edit it. So you can resize the annotation, move it from one place to another. Okay, let's try to place this annotation over the details of Andrew. Okay, it is okay. It's approximate now. We can now try to export the annotations and then import it in a new document. Now I'm going to, oh God, I had there is a typo mistake in the name of the export button. Let me fix it. Export, yeah. Let's see if hot reload works. Yes, hot reload works here. It is updated as export. Let's check if we could export the annotation details. I got clicked on it. Let's jump to check if the data is exported. Yes, we have an annotation data exported to the data folder. Now I'm going to reload this document and import and check if the annotation are imported. Now I'm going to open. I'm going to choose not to save these annotations. So I'm choosing this employee details. I'm going to import the annotations from the local folder. Yeah, it is included. So this is how we include annotations and import and export the data to and from the PDF document. To save the annotation details in the PDF document, choose the save method. So the file is already open. Yes, we have opened it in Acrobat here. So we are closing it now. And we are going to choose save option now. Now the changes made would be reflected in here. Yes, both the highlight annotation and highlight, underline, and cloud annotations are included in this PDF document. Choosing save as option here, you can retain your original copy and make a new copy of this document with the annotation details. I hope you find this sample useful.